Hi Curious! We can all agree that Walt Disney is undoubtedly the undisputed king of cartoons and that there probably isn't a single person who hasn't heard of the brilliant cartoonist. After all, he did create many of the most recognizable characters in the fairy tale world. But there are some things that you might not know about him, because Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck's father also had his dark secrets. What facts about Disney's life have been carefully concealed? How did they affect his animations? And how does it relate to Mulan, the famous production from 1998, which is now available to stream on Disney+. Make sure you watch until the end to find out the answers to all of these questions, but before we continue, don't forget to hit the bell and the subscription buttons so you can stay up to date with all our videos. Walter Elias Disney was born on December 5th of 1901 in Chicago and was one of 5 children of Elias Disney and Flora Call. For some, his life was the epitome of the American dream. At the age of 19, he came from the provincial Kansas City to Los Angeles with just a few dollars in his pocket to build his impressive and valuable empire over the next decades. Together with his brother Roy, he founded the Walt Disney Company, which is now the largest media conglomerate in the entire world in terms of revenue. In 1955, he also opened his first Disneyland theme park, and as of today, there is a total of 6 of them. As you probably know, Walt's career in the entertainment industry is undoubtedly accompanied by a list of impressive achievements. Let's start by listing some of his professions. So, this man of many talents was a film producer, director, screenwriter, voice actor, entrepreneur, and of course, an animator. His incredible successes include a record of 59 Oscar nominations, of which he received 26 statuettes. The first of these came into his hands in 1932. Disney was also a 7-time winner of the Emmy Award, so at first glance everything looks so amazing and perfect, right? But was it really like that? First of all, Walt Disney's childhood was definitely not a happy one. His family couldn't stay in one place for too long. His father was described not only as a failure at life, but also an extremely harsh person. His children were punished for the slightest misconduct, and it was always young Walt who was the one who got the short end of the stick. Fortunately, in all those years, his source of comfort was his brother Roy, who was always there for the future animator, helping him any way he could and comforting him. At the age of 17, Walt decided to join the army like many other young men. However, at the time, his birth certificate was lost in the Chicago archives. Though interestingly enough, when the document was finally found, it had the wrong date on it. Quite the mysterious story, right Curious? So make sure you stay with me. His mother attributed to the mistake to the clerical error, but already then a certain thought had occurred to the young man. What if he was adopted? Or worse, what if he was the result of one of his parents' infidelity? Is that why his father treated him worse than his other children for all those years? However, the answer to this puzzle appeared only after several years. On his 35th birthday, Walt received a mysterious letter written by the FBI director himself. In writing, the name of a Spanish woman, Isabella Zamora, was stated. She had previously worked as a governess in his house many years before and had probably been with his father Elias. Did this mean that she was Walt's mother? Well, so far, none of the biographers have found any evidence of this, so it will probably always remain a mystery. And do you want to know why they haven't been able to find anything? Because all the documents that concerned Isabella had been destroyed. It all sounds very suspicious, wouldn't you agree, Curious? Let me remind you that officially on paper, Flora Call is still his birth mother, but she's also associated with the tragic story in the brilliant animator's life. Before I tell you this, let me ask you a question. Have you noticed that the characters of Disney's stories are almost always orphans? Bambi, Simba, Ariel, and these are just some of the characters who grew up without their mothers in the company's animation. Imagine that the secret of this could be hidden in Disney's life story. One of the producers at the company revealed something that Walt himself never spoke of. It happened in 1938 when Disney bought a house for his parents. Unfortunately, there was a gas leak in the house which led to gas poisoning, as a result of which the filmmaker's mother lost her life. Walt blamed himself for this tragedy, and there's a theory that the tragic event influenced his later work and the shaping of his characters. But it wasn't just his work that was affected, his mental health also suffered, which resulted in visits to a specialist. It is no secret that Disney had many problems, and among them depression, numerous phobias, and the embarrassing ailment that were prolonged periods of impotence. He was also characterized by a very explosive character, which was a particular nuance for employees of his company, but I will tell you about this in a moment. Let us come back to his personal worries, because Walt supposedly dreamt of having a bunch of children all of his life, but he never lived to see that. His wife Lillian Bounds did not get pregnant until after 8 years of their marriage, but sadly she lost the child. Fortunately, the woman's second pregnancy ended with the birth of a daughter. Over time, the couple also decided to adopt another daughter so that little Diane could have a sister. So, was Walt Disney a tyrant at work? Many descriptions indicate that he was. Despite the fact that younger employees would call him uncle, he treated everyone harshly. He was capable of firing people for the slightest fumble, required absolute dedication from everyone, and imposed a brutal workplace. Animators worked up to 16 hours a day, and some even created 700 drawings per day. Oh, and there was no possibility of vacation or leave for the holidays. All that at some point led the employees to decide to start a trade union. Can you guess how it ended? Not only did Disney get mad, but he also published an article in Variety magazine and, I quote, "red spiders that conspired in his company." The conflict escalated and it eventually turned into a 2-month strike. In the end, it was Walt's brother Roy who finally came to his aid and helped him reach an agreement with the staff. But in later years, the Disney company did not lack any shocking moves and decisions. One such move was to kick out John Lasseter, one of the main animators. His misconduct? Pushing too much for the company to start using computer animation in cartoons. The man later found a job at Pixar, and in time helped to make it what it was now. Interestingly, in 2006, Disney bought Pixar and Lasseter became the creative director of both companies. A shocking fact is that in 2018, he ended his career there due to accusations of inappropriate behavior towards women. However, similar accusations were made about Walt Disney himself, and those came from Meryl Streep. At the National Board of Review Gala, the actress said that although Disney brought much joy to billions of people, he was most likely also prejudiced against black people that he characterized by his aversion towards the Jewish community and also women. Her words, as you can easily guess, caused a real storm in the media. But were her accusations justified? Let's go back to Disney's childhood days, and more specifically to the character of his father. He was a religious man and he instilled his belief in his children as well. Interestingly, Walt was given his name in honor of Walter Perriman, a priest from the Chicago Cathedral with whom Elias was friends with. Religious upbringing contributed to the fact that the famous cartoonist was unlikely to joke about his faith. It is also pointless to look for such references in the films that he created. Okay, so what about his prejudice against the Jewish communities? First of all, none of his employees ever complained about such behavior when it came to their boss. However, there were rumors about his contacts with people who were followers of the controversial Nazi ideology, though this was never confirmed by any evidence. He had many friends among the members of the Semitic nation, and even in 1955, he became the Man of the Year according to one of the oldest Jewish organizations in the world. Neil Gabler, one of Walt Disney's biographers, also strongly denied the accusations of the animation's aversion to black people, although the main reasons for this were primarily found in the famous cartoons such as Dumbo. One of the characters in it is a gang of crows, and their leader is called Jim. After the Civil War, the so-called Jim Crow law was introduced in some states. They were intended to restrict the freedom of former slaves, and the very term Jim Crow was an offensive one in the meaning of the N-word. So could Disney not have been aware of this? Or was it rather a record of the mood of the time? What do you think, Curious? One of the accusations made by Meryl Streep was also unethical behavior towards women. Some evidence in this case can be tracked back to 1938, a letter that Disney's company sent to Mary Ford, a cartoonist applying for a job. It is said that women do not do any creative work there, but only clean the film stock. On the other hand, however, one can look at the career of Retta Scott, who was accepted to the studio in 1938 and who was immediately tasked with working on the movie Bambi. Other famous female animators included Retta Davidson and Mary Blair. People also sought out some derogatory premises for women in Disney's animations. An example of this was Snow White, where according to some, the stereotype of a woman sitting at home and serving men was confirmed. However, what they did not take into account was the fact that the animation was based on a folktale by the Grimm brothers, and Disney only transferred it to the big screen. Also, at the time when the movie was released, the family model in which a woman was supposed to obey a man was commonplace, and that's why at the time nobody was surprised. So are such accusations right? I will leave the opinion making to you. Sticking with the topic of Snow White, we've got some more information for you. There's also another dark story connected with the tale. the heroine of which the actress who gave the voice to the character. I'm talking about Adriana Caselotti, who, despite being a key person for the animation, never appeared in the closing credits. Moreover, she was not even invited to the official premiere of Snow White on December 21st of 1937 in Los Angeles. What was the reason for this? Disney, who was known for his perfectionism, wanted to maintain the illusion of the film so much that he refused to allow the audience to find out who was putting their voices into the film characters. According to him, it would spoil the magic in the image. In his rules, he even went further and, among other things, banned Adriana from promoting the animation during her appearance on America's Most Famous radio show, and later made it difficult for the actress to participate in any other films. So does caring for the magic illusion also apply to other Disney productions? Some think so. Another example is Mulan, such a popular animation from 1998. I'm not sure if you know, but it wasn't a well-received one in China, where the character of the Valiant Girl has been functioning in legends for centuries. The Disney version did not appeal to the local public because they believe it was too different from the historical tale and that it showed Mulan as a completely different person. She was too polite, and the character of the funny but a little silly Mushu was considered an insult to the dragon symbol in their culture. If you want to know more about Mulan and the controversies surrounding the movie, then be sure to click on the link above. On the other hand, this can be seen as a deliberate effort by the filmmakers to match this story to the expectations of the audiences around the world, especially the young ones. Such universality is to reach every viewer and convey some timeless message. How well was it presented in the latest film about the valiant Mulan, which you can watch on Disney's streaming platform? See for yourself. I shall be waiting for your feedback. So what do you think about the dark side of Walt Disney? Have you heard about these facts before? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you again in the next video.